All right. Welcome, CvCISO podcast listeners. This is Evan. Welcome to episode 41 of the CvCISO podcast. Joining me are my two awesome friends, cohorts, and enemies. What do they call that? Partners in crime. Have we committed any crimes lately? Either of you? Okay. No.
If being,
Yeah.
We leave that up to you.
If awesome's being a crime, I plead guilty. Throw the book right at me. Lock me up. Wait, you can't lock up awesome. I'm all over the place. Oh, got me going. It's Friday morning. Hoo, yeah. Hoo-ah. Let's go out and kick some awesome CvCISO. Yeah. All right.
I'm resisting the urge to play along and go down this trail for the first 10 minutes of the show.
Oh, yeah. We could be stuck here for quite a while Meg's just sitting in the back going like, oh, my God, what did I get
my
into?
head, like, my gosh.
Yep. Anyway, so Meg's here. Meg, how you doing?
Hello.
You doing well?
Doing well.
Awesome.
It's
Mr.
like 50 degrees here in Wisconsin. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give it a day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but
no, it's true.
Yeah. Well,
you never know.
You don't. That's the thing. It's global warming, global cooling, global sideways, global up, down. I don't even know where we're at right now.
Nothing works in this crazy universe anymore.
Yeah.
Right. All I do is just find a corner.
Which I think God does intentionally just to confuse everybody. Just to be like, you think you know what's going on? You don't know what's going on.
You don't.
You don't. But then he gives us awesome, right? And then I go to trial. I'm guilty of that. Judge me, judge. Judge me. Judge me good.
Plead guilty.
Guilty. All right. So that's Batman. That's Jordan. Jordan, he's Batman. Good. All right. So today the topic is mine, and I want to talk about mentorship. The reason why it's top of mind for me is the FR Secure CvCISO, the FR Secure CISSP, there's too many damn acronyms in this industry. The FR Secure CISSP Mentor Program registration launched this week. And I think a lot of people know about it. A lot of people don't know about it. And what it is it's free, completely free, no strings attached. Don't confuse free with no value. But it's free CISSP training given by myself and, usually a handful of other instructors, who've been down this path to help people pass that CISSP. Over the years, it's the 15th year we've done it. Started with 6 students in 2010. This is the 16th consecutive year that we've done it. And in total, it's been over 100,000 students from 140 something countries that have registered. Not everybody makes it through the program because it is a time commitment. Just like anything in life, I think things that are worthwhile, things that you value enough are a time commitment. They're a personal commitment. And the same thing with mentorship. But the reason why this is top of mind today for me is 15 years of doing this. The CISSP, we call it the mentor program. And to me, it's felt more like a training program and less like a mentor program. And so we're trying to figure out, this will be our first year where we're going to focus more on the mentorship piece. We're also going to, rather than the instruct you sitting for 2 hours watching one of us teach you material, we're going to pre-record that material and then you can watch it whenever. And instead, we're going to take the time that we would normally be teaching to answer questions, to do the mentor thing, right? To share our own personal experiences on how we've run into this in the field, the things that we haven't run into the field, give you our opinions on things, share the wisdom. Because I think the biggest benefit that I've received in mentors in my life is their shared wisdom. So I wanted to use that as the topic, and the floor is open. What do you guys say? Do you guys have mentors?
I think in like
awkward silence, we're going to have to dub that out maybe.
Well, like loose ways, like not official mentorship.
Your mentors are loose?
Well, just loosely. Like you're
Like
mentored
like
loose.
promiscuous
Leave it to
or
you.
different kind of loose? You're thinking?
Yeah,
Maybe?
just where it's not like a solidified partnership that has the intention of mentorship.
Oh, okay. I
It's
get
just
it.
it's just happens to be happening.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Just
Kind of like,
just naturally kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Because that when, what made me kind of pause when you asked that question is that very same thing. It's like, yeah, not a formal mentor, but like, but throughout the years of my life, there were people that I looked up to that invested in me, and I felt like I could go to them for advice and help and all that stuff. And maybe it's worth defining what a mentor is, because it can be maybe people confuse what it is, or it's different to other people.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think mentorship is a one size fits all solution, right? You have to connect at kind of a personal level almost, right? You keep it professional, but there has to be a chemistry between the mentor and the mentee for it to stick. Yeah, I think mentees, there are some mentees that are just much more demanding, so than others. But yeah, I don't like the formal ones. I don't think formal ones stick because it's mechanical. It feels more like a job than it does. It feels more like what I have to do than what I want to do, what I get to do. So the mentees that I've mentored over the years, they've become just friends. The one I'm thinking, because I like helping everybody, it doesn't mean that, yeah, I mean, I just like helping everybody. But one that's top of mind is the one that, I do the InfoSec to Insanity podcast with, Matt Goodacre. I like him. I think he's a good dude, and he seems to be in the game for the right reasons. He doesn't come to the table with presuppositions and biases, and, we put the ego aside, you get real, you talk about real shit. He challenges me. That's the thing about a mentor and a mentee. It's not a one-way relationship. It's not what can I get from the mentor. It's a two-way relationship, just like any good relationship, where the mentor is learning a lot from the mentee too, right? We're just at different stages maybe of our career or our discipline. But when he shares with me some of the things that he's going through in his day-to-day job, I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting. So then you apply what I know from, my experiences, and does it directly apply? I don't know, but I can share the wisdom around it. That's the thing about wisdom. Wisdom never, ever changes. It's always wisdom. And the only way you can gain wisdom is either through somebody else shares their wisdom, and you're going to take it, or you learn it through experience, but not just any experience, painful experience. Those are the ones that stick.
Well, I think the best wisdom is very tied to experience. Like it's because wisdom is different than education, and I think that's kind of what the point that you were kind of making is with the CISSP mentorship program. There's a lot of education there, and I would maybe push back on you that there was mentorship there. At least if I shared my experience, it felt like there was some, but wisdom is a sharing of experience. Learn it through your own experience, but you pass it on by sharing your experience with others.
Yeah. And over generations, I mean, this is how things get better, right? Otherwise, if there was no sharing of wisdom and you would just continue to cycle, right? We'd continue to repeat the same damn mistakes over and over and over again and be like, well, that didn't work. And sadly, that does kind of represent a lot of what goes on in our industry. Being 35 years in this industry, you see people still doing the same stupid shit and expecting a different result. And I think some of that maybe a lot of it might be attributed to our lack of sharing wisdom.
Yeah.
Not sharing frameworks. And I mean, shit, frameworks are useless. It's just another tool. It's how do you use it? How do you apply it? How do you deal with the nuances of, this isn't a technology issue. it's a people issue. So how do you work through the people? How do you learn different strategies? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's a great point, because that's how I've always felt as my career progressed and like getting into this industry. Like I ask, how do you do this? And someone throws a framework at me, and I look at it, I'm like, yeah, but great. I'm glad you put, a 4-step word process in front of me, but how do I use this? Like, how do I actually do it?
Right. Yeah. How do I present it to somebody? How do I defend it? How do I talk about it? There's so much more than just this, here, do it. Here's the tool. There's lots of tools in our industry. We need to do, I think, a much better job at teaching people how to use the tools, how to apply them properly. That's the art of it all.
Mm-hmm.
The framework, and that, and for years and years and years, we just keep coming up with new frameworks, updated frameworks. It's like, that's not the problem. The problem is using it. And I think, mentors, I think a lot of people don't view themselves as being capable or qualified to be a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a myth. That's absolute bullshit.
Definitely.
Everybody is qualified to be a mentor. The fact that you feel that way it's healthy in some ways, because it shows you're humble, right? I mean, we don't want to lead with pride, because that's a shitty trait, but you've always got something to share. You've got some experiences, some wisdom. Even like, take a person who's trying to find a job, their first job in the information security industry, and they've been trying for 6 months or a year, and they've got no experience. As an example, there's an ability to mentor in that. This is what I've learned as I've walked down this path. These are the things that didn't work when I was applying for jobs. These are the things that seem to work. I seem to get a little bit, excuse me, I just burped. I seem to get a little bit better.
Edit that up.
Yeah, I seem to get a little better response when I do this or do that. You know what I mean? It's more about the support too. It's support and sharing of wisdom. I don't know, man.
The picture in my head is like changing the oil on your car, right? Someone could give you a manual and say, here, this is how you change the oil. But do you remember when you helped your dad change the oil, or your mom, or who, like the picture of just holding the wrench, holding the flashlight for your dad, and he's talking through, like, yeah, here's, you got to put this on here, and then that's a completely different thing than reading the stupid manual,
Right. And it gives you confidence too. I think there's a lot of people in this industry that struggle with, they know the right thing. They're fearful maybe to say the right thing, to do the right thing. It's easier not to do the right thing. And I think a good mentor can give you the confidence that, yes, this is the right thing. It gives you validation, support, and my favorite, I've had mentors over the years, and even some of the mentors didn't know and still don't know that they were mentors of mine. That's how informal it can be. It's like, I'm just watching this person. I'm learning from this person. I'm observing the things they say carry weight. And there's one, his name is Dixon Gould. I've worked with him a couple of times, and he taught me so much about business. Things like always understand your audience, read the room, because I've always been kind of a mess up anyway, right? And so you'd go to a board meeting, and I'm not dressed for a board meeting, and rather than like firing me or treating me like a dipshit, hey, you got to dress for your audience, man. You got to read the audience. Like, it's okay to dress the way you dress, but not in a board meeting. You know what I mean? It was these things that I thought, looking back, they were just so basic and fundamental. That's another good thing about a mentor, is the way they're not in the shit with you, and they can observe from a distance, from a different angle, and really help and improve your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So even if you don't have this formal mentor, I think what I would encourage anybody who's listening to this podcast, who's looking for a mentor, is maybe you've already got one and you just never really called them that.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of that happening within the CvCISO community. a lot of people will ask about the mentor program, which we haven't really established at this point.
Yeah.
In like the formal way. But there's a lot of informal mentorship that's happening all the time, just through individuals that stay connected after a cohort and they're helping each other out. The Minnesota local chapter, just different ways that people are supporting one another and helping each other through difficult situations.
I love that. And that is truly the part, as when I developed the structure for the programs, that's one that's hard for me to actually put together, not because I don't know how you can't lose out on this natural piece, because that's the sticky stuff. If you formalize like, this is your mentor, you're the mentee, follow them. Well, I don't like him. He's an asshole. So when I need the guidance, when I need the whatever, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call them. So you can't force that stuff. So that's the part I'm struggling with on the mentor program piece, is how do you create this natural sort of environment where they just attract to each other and they stick?
It makes me think of, it's opportunities. It's giving them opportunities that because you can't formalize it. So like it reminds me of the line in Evan Almighty. You remember that movie where what's his name?
Evan.
Good playing God. What was his name? Well, but he's like, hey, when someone prays for patience, do you think God just zaps him with patience, or does he give him opportunities to be patient? And that's like one of the best lines in that movie, right? That's like this, and that's what I feel like with mentorship. It's like you give someone, if someone wants to be a mentor, you give them opportunities to be a mentor. If someone needs a mentor, you give them opportunity to meet mentors. And maybe the advice in those situations would be like, hey, if you feel like someone that could be a mentor to someone else, then find ways to go that extra mile, give that little extra explanation to someone that goes deeper than just a framework type of a thing. And if you're looking for a mentor, find opportunities to ask. I mean, maybe the simple is ask. And because, I had someone at the local chapter meeting this week, right before we left, he just said, hey, I'd love to get a cup of coffee with you sometime. And I don't really know why he wants to get coffee with me. I don't know if it's for mentorship or what, but it's kind of like having the courage to, when you're in an opportunity, to take that simple step, and a mentor will say yes. Just like the first time me and you got together, Evan, it took an ask, and suddenly it revealed the mentorship inside of you to me, to be willing to just sit down for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think you can also, even to maybe even more extreme, like there are mentors in my life that I've never even talked to. I've never even talked to them before. There are people that I hold in high esteem based on things that they've done in the industry, or things they've done in life, or, books they've written or whatever. And so I just follow that, right? And then I listen to what they say, because I think the best mentors too are just genuine, transparent, authentic people. The best mentors, I think there's a lot of mentors who get a power trip out of the, I'm a mentor and look how awesome and powerful and important I am. Those are, I think, dangerous mentors. It's the ones. And so from that perspective too, you don't realize how much of a mentor you are, especially when you're a leader, because the truth is everybody's watching you. Every single person who works at FR Secure is watching me. They're watching me for, cues, I think, on reinforcement. The mission. Does this guy really live for the mission? There's this skepticism. And then once you start getting over the hump of the credibility and the trust, like, yes, I really am in this for the mission, then things start to resonate. Then you start to there's that kind of mentorship too, where you don't even have to ever talk to anybody. Talk to the mentor. Listen to them. Listen to what they're saying. And if you have questions, then reach out. or if you disagree. I think good mentors on that two-way relationship, I think good mentors are open to criticism, open to challenge. If something I said seems wrong to you, ask me. That's what good mentors will do, because then they can defend it, which then just builds more trust and credibility. They're blowing leaves outside my house right now. Why? 10 o'clock in the morning? Are you serious? On a Friday?
I'll be a mentor to them.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. You guys continue the conversation.
For what it's worth, Evan, we hear it, but we can hear you just fine.
Yeah, but it's driving me crazy because all I can hear is the meh, meh, meh in the background. So this is a mentorship opportunity for me.
Yeah. Think that going back to the CISSP program, I don't think that I truly understood the value that it was at the time when I did it. I did it many years ago now. And that's why I kind of said that, like, there was mentorship. Like, the mentorship was people sharing their experience taking the exam, like it was it's like, yeah, they're training you, but then it's like Brad would say, like, yeah, I remember when I took the exam, like, this was a problem for me. And so I made sure to, like, and it was like sharing their experience of taking the exam. And, at the time, what I'm realizing now is, like, there's a lot of information security folks that are really stressing about getting their CISSP, and it's like taking them a while to even pull the trigger. And that's what I didn't feel that back then. And part of it maybe my
CISSP.
What's that?
That's what you didn't feel, the pressure to have a CISSP.
I didn't feel the pressure. Like, this was just I did it because I wanted to go the direction of information security, and really I wasn't completely familiar with what a CISSP was, but I found the CISSP mentorship program, and so I was like, yeah, okay, sweet, this is, and so I went through it, and it gave me the courage to take the exam, and then pass, and so that's why it's just interesting thinking back on it, because people are, I see people stressing about it, and I'm just like, man, I didn't even realize. Like, I feel like there was a lot of value in that mentorship program, because it gave me courage that I didn't even know I needed to get through the exam and everything,
Because I think mentorship, it's like what Evan said earlier, that he has people he considers mentors that don't even know they mentored him. And I
Right.
think that mentorship can take place through books that you read. You can be completely change the trajectory of what you want to do or how you want to do something based on information that you read. So that's that intangible kind of mentorship.
And I think
Yeah.
if here's a mentorship relationship that I think anybody who's a parent can relate to. You're a mentor to your children, right? That's a very tight bond, but it's not formal. I mean, I suppose you could formalize it, but I don't put it down on paper like, these are the things you need to ask questions about. These are the things that I'm going to teach you today. A lot of it's just through authentic who you are, right? You create this bond, you create this connection. Because I've always viewed, like, the people that work with me, I don't even like to say work for me, because nobody's working for me. We're working for a mission. I'm just in this position. It's a blessing. It's also a curse some days, but I view everybody as a child. It's that kind of love for them. Like, I want what's best for them. And so I try to lead that way and I think the same thing with mentors that are mentees that I've had. I brought up Matt. I love him. I want what's best for him. I want him to be better than me. That's the point, is to move this ball forward, right? I don't want anybody to ever view me as a mentor as, well, I aspire to be like Evan someday. Why don't you inspire to be better? Take the things that I'm teaching and go with it, build on it, and that's the same thing with, like, Oscar Minks, the president of FR Secure. I want him to be better. He is better. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being better. That's a good thing. Embrace that shit. And I think mentors, rather than looking at a mentee as, good mentors, want to invest kind of that way.
100%.
But it's not a formal thing. Another mentee, there's I never really think of them as mentees, but they are, there's probably, I don't know, 10 or so maybe that I talk to regularly, but it's just a friendship thing. And they bring up work things and challenges that they're going through. And sometimes they're security people, sometimes they're other business people who are trying to start their business and get their business going. And I don't know more than you do. That's another thing I think that's a myth with mentorship and mentees and mentors is, well, this mentor knows more. No, mentor is somebody it's not a no more, no less. It's not a elevation thing. It's somebody who's just got wisdom to share with you in some area of your life. Sometimes you have mentors like sponsors for alcoholics in AA. A sponsor is really a mentor.
I think you hit it on the head with what you said earlier there is like when you're talking about, viewing them as your children and stuff. And by the way, I think that's a great way to view every single person you ever come into contact with as that kind of a care for them. Because that's what struck a chord with me is a mentor. A great mentor is someone that wants to leave an imprint in everybody's life that they come into contact with, that wants everyone that they come into contact with to leave a better person because they were with them for even a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that seems like the essence of a mentor.
And that's what qualifies everybody to be a mentor.
Right.
Everybody's got something to contribute.
Even if it's just wanting the best for the person that's in your presence, for them to be better.
Right. And that's why I think even a mentor-mentee relationship, there's a reverse mentorship piece to it too.
Exactly.
Where
that's what
they're sharing their experiences. And I'm like, so like, I think if you like how being a mentor, that's work and commitment and blah, blah, blah. And it's about giving. No, you get so much in return too. I've learned so much from the people that I've mentored over the years. It makes me a better person. You talk about how important perspectives are. Perspectives in my job as a security person, the worst risk decisions you'll ever make are the ones that lack context.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you're going to get context is through perspectives. That's all just logic and reason. So the more people that are telling me about their perspectives, about the way they view the world, the better it makes me. I make better decisions. I'm like, okay, I'm not batshit crazy. You saw it too. Awesome. You reinforced some of the shit that I thought I knew. So it's such a valuable relationship. And the challenge is, how do you create an environment where this kind of thing just flourishes?
Yeah.
Where you don't formalize it, you don't force it. With the CISSP mentor program, I think I don't have to be a mentor to all the students in the program. I don't have to talk to every one of them. I have to just be authentic with all of them, in the recordings, in the sessions we do. And they'll learn little nuggets along the way that hopefully will be the wisdom that they need to increase their chances of success in this industry. That's the...
You talk all the time about how we're in the people business, and mentorship is really about relationships. It's about building relationships. And there's like an ebb and flow of, there may be ways, and this was that kind of reverse part that you were talking about, where there may be ways that I sharpen you, and there's ways that you sharpen me. And so it's people that are invested in the relationship together, that have an investment into each other. And I think without that, it makes it hard for it to last.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's sometimes, and that's why mentorship is never a one size fits all either. There are as many different types of mentors as there are different types of people, if it's done right, because it's got to be authentic. There are some people who like the formal relationship kind of thing, where we schedule a time every week and we talk during this time every week and we accomplish these things together every week. Don't, be careful for somebody like me who doesn't do things that way. I need to be careful not to judge that and say, well, that's not the way to do mentoring. Because it is the way to do mentoring for that kind of person. I mentor through informal relationship-y things, just being authentic, talking about shit. And if you don't like me, that's cool. We don't have to be mentor-mentee things. And like I said, all the mentors or mentees that I guess would call themselves mentees if you cut through the shit. But to your point, Jordan, what is a mentor? I mean, defining what is a mentor, what is a mentee. Of the, I don't know, tens, dozens, hundreds over the years that would be mentees in that relationship, none of them were formal.
Should we create
that's just the way I work.
Should we create a mentorship Tinder app where you can like view profiles and swipe right, swipe left, and see if you get a match?
Yeah,
there you go.
Totally should do that.
Wait, what's good? Swipe right or swipe left? I don't know.
I've never been in Tinder. I have no idea.
No,
I didn't even know there was a
I
swipe.
saw you in there. What are you talking about?
That was a persona. That wasn't the real me. That was the other me, Jordan. Shut up.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, that's kind of, if you are going to add some formality to it, like that's an interesting thought, because it's like, how do you match people up? You match, if people have what they want in a mentor, and mentors have how they want to give the mentorship. And
yeah. Well, I think you have to define for yourself what you need in a mentor. It's probably not what you think you do.
right.
You may, I need somebody who's just going to coach me and, teach me how to navigate stuff. What does that look like? And to what end? What's the purpose for it?
I want a redhead with green eyes. And
right. So I think anybody that you're going to approach, with the goal of them being your mentor and having face-to-face or one-on-one time, it's why there's only so much time. There's only 24 hours in the day, and regardless of how much I may want to keep helping people and whatever, I can't. So then how can I still receive that wisdom from that person if I can't get face-to-face with them? Follow them, watch them, observe. And in time, going back to the patience thing, in time, maybe there will be an opportunity for you to talk to that person. Maybe they're giving a talk at a conference at the same time you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, it's got to be this natural thing, because when it's mechanical, because people reach out all the time, you get messages. I mean, I look at my fucking LinkedIn messages now, and it's like, there's no time.
Yeah.
And it's not because, don't get me wrong, I don't ever view that as being more important or anything. It just comes with the territory of existing, I think, long enough in this industry. But also, if you can't find a way to get the mentorship you're looking for from the person you're trying to get it from, look elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's okay. But I think, like, I get most of my mentorship from people I've never talked to, because I know that they're busy. I know that. And if I do look for that formal, like, I want to talk to this person on a regular basis, I'm going to lose out on the thing that I found so valuable in them anyway, because they're not going to have time to do that shit anymore. They're too busy talking to me. So it's kind of like this respect thing. Like, just watch them, read their LinkedIn posts regularly. If they're giving talks, follow their talks, listen to their talks. There's a lot of mentorship in all of that. And I like those kind of mentorship things because I can do it on my time. I'm busy as shit, but it's 8:00 at night. Things have quieted down. Oh, I wonder what so-and-so,
Yeah.
what have they been up to? Check out their LinkedIn feed. Oh, good. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm learning a lot of shit from that person. Okay, cool. That was mentorship.
That brings up another characteristic of a great mentor. It would be, and you kind of touched on it already, but like solidifying it as like someone who is just open to share. Like, they're not holding anything back. It's like, I'll share my entire secret recipe, and that's okay. And those people, I mean, they'll do it publicly too. I mean, it's like, that's why it's like, yeah, read their blog, because if they're a great mentor, they're probably sharing everything, and it's in there if you just pay attention.
Yeah. And
That's
it's funny because
part
I'm working on that unsecurity version 2 right now. And so before I get done with this, I'm going to make unsecurity, the first book, free. I have the PDF. I'm just going to post it. Anybody wants to download it, download it. Because why pay for it? It's not, the good mentors also realize that the wisdom I have, I don't own it. It's meant to be shared. It's like when I bought this house here in Mexico, I'm a firm believer that if you've been blessed, bless other people with it. Do not keep it for yourself. And that's what I think good mentors are like. I learned all this shit. I need to share it. There's no secret sauce here. There's no intellectual property that needs to be patented. It's just wisdom.
I was just listening to a Kevin Hart clip this week where he's talking about that. He's like, he came to this conclusion that like, what am I going to do? Get like buried with all this stuff? Like I got to share it. Now is the time. Like if I keep it all to myself, what's the point? You die with it. And then what?
And then when you die with it, you just cheated everybody out of it. That was a huge gift that you should have left to other people, because now they're going to have to, and I think a lot of it comes from this stage in my career now, being where I'm at, 30 some odd years. I'm tired now. I don't have the energy I used to have. I can't do the things I used to be able to do. And there's nothing to be sad about. It's just another stage now of life. And I feel this urge to I need to share as much wisdom as I possibly can with as many people as I possibly can before I do die. Because my job isn't to be on stage. My job isn't to make a shitload of money. My job is to fix the fucking broken industry. And if I die and we haven't at least made progress, it was a fucking waste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to get that stuff out, I think, as a mentor. Now, some people, and so, and I would encourage listeners, anybody's listening to this on the mentor side, because I believe everybody has it in them to be a mentor at every stage of your life. And I also believe that everybody, no matter what, has an opportunity to be a mentee, no matter what stage you are in your life. So on the mentor side, when you're looking for a mentor, ask yourself why. What am I looking for in a mentor? What am I trying to get out of a mentor? How will it improve my job, my life, my whatever? And then seek those people out. You don't have to seek them out on a one-on-one conversation. Seek them out on social media, seek them out on writings they've done, movies whatever they've done, wherever you can find more about this person. Like I consider Simon Sinek to be a mentor of mine. I never met the guy. I probably never will meet the guy. Right. He has no idea who I am.
Let's invite him on the podcast.
I'm sure he's busy as hell, and I'd rather him continue to do what he's doing because it's a lot of value. You know what I mean? Right. Why take time out of your busy day where you're helping thousands, potentially millions of people to spend one-on-one time with me? I feel like I'm stealing him from everybody else. But that's an example of he has no idea that he's a mentor to me.
Yeah.
That I read the things. That doesn't mean I agree with everything he says either. It just means that he's got wisdom that I'm cherry picking and I'm adding it to my own, wisdom box, I guess. So look for the type of mentor that you want, that you need. And
I think that really broadens the perspective of what people typically think of when they think of a mentor. Because I don't think people typically think of this Simon Sinek type of person or person in your life. He has no idea that he's in your life. So I don't think people typically see that as a way to be mentored.
But it is.
Because they want kind of that back pocket. Oh, I'm not too sure about this. Let me call so-and-so because he's my mentor. He's my mentor. And get their perspective. I think that tends to be the more mainstream way of thinking about it.
Yeah, all right. But you need to have those people too. But you have to, over time, you need to fill these things out. Realize that a mentor-mentee relationship is a relationship. You have the super informal relationships where there's a relationship there that exists that the other person doesn't even know about. potentially, right? All the way to, yeah, you're going to have some one-on-one relationships, but it seems like those one-on-one relationships, those are the ones that take the most patience, they take the most investment, they're the ones that are the most important to occur naturally, just through discussions with people, all the people that I view as being mentees of mine, I didn't seek them out. They didn't seek me out as far as I know. There was a respect there, a relationship, a chemistry to where we talk regularly, but it's not mechanical. It's not a pain in the ass. It's not work for me. The last thing I want as a mentor is more fucking work. I don't want more work. I don't want your damn problems. I'm sorry. I love you. I don't want you to make the same mistakes, but I also don't want your problems. I don't want you calling me problem, because eventually I'm not going to answer your phone call anymore. It's exhausting as a mentor. But anyway, so if you're looking for a mentor, be as specific, as focused as you can on what you need, what you're looking for, how it's going to provide value, how you're going to leverage that. Look for the trust, look for the credibility. Don't be afraid ever to question your mentor, to challenge your mentor.
Yeah.
All of them. You should challenge everything.
Right. You got me thinking, because I think that you got to understand that your mentor, it's almost like stop saying my mentor, because it's mentors and it's fluid and anyone can be that. Like if you do need someone to help with your problem, you need to bring your problem to, and Evan can't answer the phone, there's other mentors. It's fluid. It's at any given point when you need that mentorship, you probably have a lot of people that you could lean on.
Yeah.
And it's almost exhausting to think of it as one-on-one mentor, and this is my mentor, and I'm always going to come to that person for all things,
Right.
Yeah.
I do think there could be value
shitty
in a more formalized mentorship too. I mean, I don't think we should dismiss that, because I think
no, but those have to happen
valuable.
even naturally too, though. Those have to happen naturally too, though, a little bit. You know what I mean? I think, for me anyway, and I don't understand other perspectives as much, but there's also times as a mentor, I mean, when I look back and I never thought mentor-mentee, I just was like, just somebody I'm helping and a friend and whatever. But there are times when in that relationship, a mentee will call and I'll purposely not answer. I'll purposely not answer because I know enough to know that this is something you need to get through yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a crutch for you.
Right.
If you really want to grow, growing is painful. And you're going to have to I picked up the phone, you didn't answer. No, I didn't fucking answer. Why didn't you answer? Because it's your fucking problem. It wasn't mine. That's why. And you're more than capable of overcoming that problem yourself. I mean, if I thought it was something like life or death, I probably would have picked up the phone. But I don't know how to configure this firewall-y thing. Well, Google like everybody else does, and you'll be fine. Yeah. So there's that part. And then on the mentee side, if you're the mentor and you have this calling, this feeling to mentor people, my biggest advice is just be yourself. Just be authentic. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. You got to feel the weight of the advice that you're giving to people is affecting their life. They're going to make decisions based on if they trust you and they think you're credible. They're going to make decisions based on what you're telling them. So you better tell them the right shit. And if you don't know the right shit, tell them you don't know the right shit.
Right.
Because you're the mentor doesn't mean you're the all-powerful being who knows everything. No. I mean, by far, I don't know fucking shit compared to all the things there are to know.
I feel like that's a lesson that rings true for me, because I think there are times in my life when I don't think I know shit and I won't share anything. I'll be quiet. And so nowadays I give those disclaimers because I'm I do have something to offer. So let me share, but I do have to give that disclaimer, I could be wrong about this, and I hear you do that all the time, Evan. It's challenge me on that. I'll share my experience. I'll share my thoughts with you because I feel like it's helpful. And that's where that mutual benefit comes too. Because if you open that door to say, hey, I'll share what I know, I'll share my experience, and I'll share my thoughts, but come back at me. It's open. This is an open conversation. If I said something wrong or something you don't agree with, like, it's open, and I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to think differently of you.
Well, there's that accountability, right? As a mentor, you need to be accountable for the advice that you're giving, the things that you're saying, the people that are listening and how they're using it. Like I get on a personal, we've all had friends call us with personal things, like I have a friend who's going through a divorce right now, and they want support, and they ask questions or look for advice. That's a place like you got to be really careful. I can tell you what I did in my divorce, how I felt, how it turned out. I don't know all the intricacies and the details of what you're currently going through, but maybe you can find little nuggets in this. But the last thing I want to do, because I think there are people who will just say, do this, leave that bitch, kick her to the curb. Well, hold on. Is that the right thing to do? It's the same thing with in our professional stuff. Like I can tell you concepts, I can tell you foundational things, I can tell you experiences. What I can never tell you, and no mentor will ever be able to tell you, is what to do in your current circumstance with accuracy, right? Because I'm not in your shoes. I think a mentor has empathy, who tries to put themselves in your shoes. It's there's always going to be that gap where I don't know exactly what it's like to be where you're at right now. And that's where you kind of have to take it as a mentee. These are the things, but he left off here. I got to take it from there. And those are usually the calls that I won't answer, or if you start asking me, it's like, well, what should I do, Evan? I'm like, what do you think you should do? Because you already know the answer.
Right.
I don't know. But there's so many different types of mentors and mentees. Yeah. You cannot get through this industry at all without support, without somebody who is a mentor, whether you call them a mentor or not. It's a mentor type relationship. And everything you take, what are you contributing? That's where you, back into the mentee piece, my opinion. Mm-hmm. So be a mentor, be a mentee. Doesn't matter if you've been in this industry 100 damn years, you still need a mentor or multiple mentors. And it doesn't matter if you've been in this industry for 6 minutes, you can be a mentor.
True.
And you have experience.
And it doesn't matter if you've been in this industry for 100 years, you probably need a mentor.
Always. Dude,
life.
I'm screwed without mentors.
Right.
I just haven't used that word to refer to them before, but that's what they are. They help me. They validate me. They teach me. They share wisdom with me. They're mentors.
So maybe that's how we end this, is for everybody to reflect and really think about mentorship and maybe ways that you have been mentored that you never really considered it as a mentorship until hearing this, that, there are different ways, and whether it's formal or informal, mentorship is mentorship.
Amen.
So reflect on that.
And take the things, and when you reflect on those relationships and reflect that, there's that pay it forward thing that people say. So that's a great opportunity for you to be a mentor to somebody else, to take that thing, those things that were passed down to you from your mentors. When you take an inventory, and you may never have referred to them as mentors, but they're people that you respect, you look up to, that you've learned from. What can you take and bring that to other people? It's huge.
Absolutely.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Awesome.
Well, we
right.
do.
Mentor people, be a mentee people. But don't talk like that, because your mentees are all going to run for the hills.
Mentorship
may be good too.
Unless you don't want them, then talk like that.
That's true. There's a piece.
It's a ship. It's a ship.
There's a piece to that, by the way, where I will purposely say or do things so that I don't get invited to meetings.
We know that about you, Evan.
I know.
And it works.
It does work. Another tip, maybe we'll do another podcast. Another tip for, you got to be at a certain stage in your career, I suppose, but Another tip for not getting invited to meetings is take every meeting you're invited to, take it off the rails. Because then they'll be like, why the hell do we keep inviting him? And I'm like, yeah, why the hell do you keep inviting me? So anyway.
Pro
all
tip
right.
from Evan Francine.
Good leaders never want to be needed. That's a good leader. Any area that you're looking in your life and your leadership where you're needed, that's an area for empowerment. Find somebody else to do it.
100%. Yeah, they don't want to be needed, but they want to be impactful.
And they want to be wanted.
They want to be loved. They need to be needed.
I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. I want you to invite me to things because you want me there, but not because you need me there.
Right.
All right. Good stuff.